back, YouTube. I'm your boy Ed Hamilton, and this is another edition of Trucking Truth. And today we're actually going to be talking about ELDs. Okay. Now, before I get into that, I got to get one disclaimer out the way before I confuse all of you guys. All right. This is not a shot at SoCal trucking. Okay. This is not a shot at him. I got a lot of respect for SoCal. You know, he's a really cool dude. And he's very, very knowledgeable. Okay, I was actually on his live stream the other day where he basically asked, was he right or was he wrong about the ELDs? And he feels that, you know, the ELDs did not have a significant impact on us drivers. I can agree and disagree at the same time. So in this video, I'm basically going to cover that. So that's a disclaimer. So it's no shot, no diss, no none of that going out to SoCal. I just wanted to give my take on it, and then also at the same time let you guys decide. Okay. And then a lot of things that I'm about to sit here and say in this video, you can also look it up yourself. So, and I'm actually going to talk about how ELDs impact trucking industry so far as what it is. Now, before I get into the rest of it, I gotta get some promos out the way. Alright, number one thing is, if you guys haven't done so, please go check out my wife on her channel called Sharia's World. It's about her life and her journey. So, go check her out. Her link is also in my description box. So just scroll all the way down, click a link, and you guys, you know, will be on her channel, and y'all check it out. I really would appreciate it if y'all do that. Number two is I'm also still hiring for drivers starting January 1st. So if you are interested in working with me, because I don't want to say you're working for me, but working with me in driving for A&S Freight Express, please email me. My email is also down in the description box. I'm hiring solo and team drivers. I'm starting solo drivers off at 48 cents a mile with a 2-cent raise after 90 days, 50 cents a mile for teams for the first 90 days with a 2-cent raise afterwards. So again, if you're interested in the, before I get into that, it is a flatbed as well as a dry van opportunities and positions that I have. So if you're interested, shoot me an email and I'll give you guys more details and how to apply and all of that other stuff. Anyway, now let's get into the topic at hand. I'm talking about ELDs and the impact that it has so far on trucking. Now, when I was on SoCal's live stream, I commented. Okay, you guys are not going to be able to see his comments because I commented while he was live, but this was my comment to him.
ELDs was the rock thrown in the pond. I'm worried about the ripple effect. So I'm going to clarify that statement, and hopefully I get you guys to understand. Now, before I get into any further, I got to get this part out the way. I am not a proponent to the ELDs. In fact, I support ELDs. Now, there's only two things that I would say that I'm in a disagreement with about this whole mandate situation. Okay, number one is about the ELDs. I don't feel like carriers, any carrier, big, large, or small, should be forced to have an ELD in their vehicle. I think that should be a carrier's choice. Okay, let me say that again. I don't think carriers should be forced to having an electronic logging device inside of the vehicle. I just believe that should be the carrier's choice. Okay, so that's number one. And number two, I do not think ELDs is going to solve the whole safety aspect of basically all the propaganda that's been about ELD. It was about the whole safety thing. I don't think it's going to solve anything safety. Okay, I think our problem what would allow us to be more safer as drivers, whether we're OTR, regional, or dedicated drivers, the only thing that would solve that is if we had a new, improved, and simplified hours of service. A lot of people that I'm hearing complaining about the ELD and the ELD mandates
Alright, it's not really complaining about the ELD. They're complaining about the hours of service. Okay, on a paper log, we get this one feature that an ELD does not allow us to have. That even when I was on paper logs, I utilized often, and that's called flexibility. Alright, for some of us, we use paper logs to haul that 1 or 2 extra loads throughout the week, you know, just to make some extra money. Some of us, we use that flexibility load because just like in this circumstance, I came to my shipper today, right? And today, I've been here for a couple of hours, but I'm not going, my appointment time is not until 6:30. So I already burned my clock getting here, okay? So my clock is going to keep running down until 6:30. And the only way that I'm going to keep trucking is if I have 8 hours continuous in the sleeper berth. Okay, so that's why I'm a very, very big on advocating a change in the hours of service. You know, where we have a 15 or 14 or 15 hour work day with a 10-hour break. That's simple. No more 70 clock, no more 14-hour clock. The moment you start your clock, it starts. The moment you stop your clock stops. If you've been off duty, whether in a sleeper berth or off duty outside of your truck doing whatever it is you do, otherwise you got 5 hours, you should be able to get that 5 hours back. You take 10 hours, you get the whole 15, 14 or 15 hour back, and just be a clock recurring on that. In my mind, the way I see that working is drivers such as myself, as well as shippers, brokers, and carriers, are able to capitalize and make more money. Also, at the same time, we'll be able to run a lot more effectively and don't have to worry about violating these easier rules. Now, one thing that I found with me being on the E-log, it is so easy to run over your 11 hours. You can pre-trip, you can do all of that stuff. You can trip plan, do all of that stuff. But there's some things that you just cannot plan for, like traffic jams, bad weather, stuff like that. You just cannot plan for. So, I mean, so far, other than that, I haven't really ran into any issues in running the ELD. So, I'm going to talk about the ripple effect of the ELD. So I'm going to try to make it real quick. One of the things that I've been doing is I've been watching other YouTubers. Okay, and then also I'll do my own research. That's the biggest thing for any owner operator, any fleet owner, is to always research the industry that they're in. It helps them stay on top of the game. It helps them stay, on top of the trends and knowing what markets to tap into and stuff like that. But then there's the other side, because rules and regulations in the trucking industry, or even in the transportation industry, doesn't matter if you're a bus driver or a freaking pilot on a plane or a train conductor, but everything changes so quick in trucking, and it's so quick in transportation all across the board. So you need to stay on top of what is going on. So I sit here and I said that statement. I believe the ELDs are a rock thrown into the pond. I'm worried about the ripple effect. So here's what I'm talking about, the ripple effect. Trucker Gil, so shout out to Trucker Gil, came out with a video, and he was talking on the lines of what I'm about to talk about now. But Trucker Gil is talking about how ELD wasn't really the problem, it's what's going to happen after the ELD. Now, with my own eyes, even I seen this in Moni, Illinois. Okay, so for people who has never been to Illinois or Moni, Illinois, there's a Petro and a Pilot right there. Okay, I used to run a lane where I'm basically from Chicago Heights all the way to Clay Como. This Petro that I'm talking about, a couple years ago, I used to be there every other day because that's where my route took. That's where I took my 10-hour break. That's just where I stayed. That's where I got my shower. That's where I ate. That was basically a main place that I was always work. Just 2 days ago, or a few days ago, before I went home, I noticed the change, and Trucker Gil hit it right on the head. Trucker Gil said that a lot of these truck stops now is going to start forcing drivers to pay for truck parking, to be able to force to pay for truck parking. So if you have an ELD, what is another way to be able to make it harder on drivers? Okay, ELDs force drivers to shut down after the 10-hour break is up. After the 11-hour or 14-hour day is up, ELDs now force us to shut down when we ain't got no choice. Yes, there is a couple things that you could do to kind of help you buy back a little bit of time, such as, like, what is that clause where there's no safe place to park, or you can use personal convenience, and even then has its own stipulations. But other than that, really, when it's time for you to shut down, you have to shut down. So at this particular place, like what Trucker Gil said, truck stops are going to force drivers to have to pay to park. So at this Petro, okay, a while back, Petro used to have a whole line of their parking lot where it was reserved parking, and it was just on one side of the parking lot, and it was maybe 30-40 spots, and that was it that you had to pay for parking. The rest of the parking lot was free to parking. Okay, now when I went there right before I went home on my Christmas break, 3/4 of the parking lot now is for reserved parking. Let me say that again. 3/4 of their whole parking lot is now reserved for only those who pay to park. So in other words, you can't park there for free. So that makes it more complicated as a driver, because it's harder for us now to find even more parking spots, especially that we don't have to pay for, easy to get into, stuff like that. States right now, throughout America, a lot of states throughout America now is now banning 18-wheelers from parking on the side of an exit and on-ramp. There is also a big old push, in case you guys don't know, about rest areas that's not going to allow 10-hour parking or overnight parking anymore. Okay, because they want to keep the flow of traffic, is what they say. It's not safe, is what they say. So that is some of the things that is coming out. So when I'm talking about the ripple effect is that now you got all of these other businesses, not just talking about the ELDs capitalizing on the mandate, but now you got all of these other businesses that are also in it to make a quick buck. Reserve parking. Now states and other entities are now trying to fine us if we happen to park on the side of the road. So that is a ripple effect. Other than that, another ripple effect that is actually starting. There's been so far within the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of owner-operators getting out of the game. And I'm not talking about owner-operators who's leased on with a company. I'm talking about owner-operators with their own authority, okay, that is not getting out of the game because the cost of the ELD is just too much for them. Not just that, there's also small to medium-sized carriers now starting to reduce the size of their company because of the ELDs. They don't have the funds. It's just too expensive for them to sit here and put all the trucks on ELDs. Another ripple effect is that I'm also noticing is that there's been an increase of people buying super old trucks, which is no problem with that, okay, to avoid the ELD mandate. But little do they know, in 2019, there's going to be another push for ELDs even on older trucks. It's not going to matter what truck you have, whether it's a glider kit with no emissions or an old-ass truck that never had a computer in it in the first place. They're going to have to be equipped somehow, in some way, to be able to run an ELD. So the ripple effect that I see is people are going to start capitalizing on us. Small businesses, whether it's small fleet owners, small independent owner operators, small trucking and stuff, that's going to go out of business. That's the ripple effect. More difficulty in finding parking. That's going to be another ripple effect. And you see the states already doing it now, where they're trying to ban us from using on and off ramps as a means to be able to take a 10-hour break and shut down safely off the road. Okay, other than that, Other than that, that's what I'm talking about, ripple effect. You guys see it in the East Coast, or y'all hear about it in the East Coast. Alright, ELDs are messing up a lot of the drivers over there, where they literally have to pull off the side of the highway. Not the side of an on and off ramp, not at a rest area or a truck stop, but literally on the side of the highway, because that's the only place that they can go to shut down for 10 hours to get their hours back. Okay, on top of that, I don't represent the East Coast. I don't run a lot of East Coast freight, so going out there visually saying I don't know a lot about it. I don't represent the West Coast or out West because I don't go out there a lot. Okay, so maybe for each different region of the country, you know, ELDs might be affecting it in different ways. But I know here in the Midwest, because that's mainly where I run, is Midwest and down south, ELDs for us is kind of been hammering. Like it's been a harder kind of push for us as far as being able to maneuver, to move freight effectively as we did with the papers. That's just something I'm personally going through, and also I'm seeing a lot of overcrowded truck stops during certain hours that before you could go there, the whole parking lot be empty. The only thing that might be full is the fuel island, but everything else is empty. It was easier to get a shower. It's easier now to truck stops stay packed. You know, these are ripple effects that I'm talking about. So that is where I was going on about it with the doggone ripple effect. So SoCal, that's what I'm talking about in the Midwest. I'm from Michigan. My company's based out of Chicago. Alright, so that's basically what I'm saying on my side. Okay, from the little bit of research that I've done, you know, I can agree in some ways. Money wise, my money has basically been the same as what I would. Like I said in my last video, I basically ran a load out to Pittsburgh, and actually now I'm on my way back home to finish out my Christmas break. And just on these 2 runs, I actually made a $3,200 round trip on 900 miles. So, yep, everything changes in 5 minutes. I know I told y'all I made 26 last one, but the load that I got for today, actually to pick up for the day, canceled, so I got another one that paid a little bit better. So I mean, money wise it's pretty good, but and it's still the same. So I'm not really stressing about the money. I'm stressing about having to spend it to be able to park or pay a fine because I have to pull off the side of the road, just simply because I'm out of hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm out of hours, and that's best way to say it. So if you guys find this video informational and you guys like the content I'm giving you, give me a thumbs up. If you guys you know, feel like other people can benefit from this video, definitely share it. If you guys got any feedbacks or any comments, please leave them down below. Other than that, if you're new to this channel and you like the content that I'm giving you, definitely subscribe. Hit the bell on the side as well to be notified when I release more videos, whether I go live or every Friday when I drop my vlog, almost every Friday. And you guys already know I'm not just a trucker on YouTube. I am a YouTube trucker. Yes, right, I said it. But I don't care if y'all heard it over there. I don't care if y'all heard it over there, because over here I'm gonna want to give y'all the mother trucking truth. Nothing more, nothing less. But I'm about to go lay down, because I done told my wife I'm gonna go lay down and go to sleep, take me a nap. I'm gonna catch y'all on the other side.